Today's story is about a guy who lived in a quiet neighborhood, but he considered himself to have bad luck, and he had a good reason for that. His neighbor was a YouTuber. For years, he had seen him cooking cinnamon, lying on the hood of a car without a driver going downhill down the street, doing stupid things. So, when this YouTuber knocked on his door to tell him he was going away for a few days, if he could please take care of the mail that came to his house for safekeeping, the guy considered it not only a relief, a miracle. The day came, the neighbor finally left, so responsibly the guy went every morning to check his neighbor mailbox, collect some bills, a couple of coupons from neighborhood pizzerias and delivery restaurants. Junk mail, of course. But one fine day coming home from work, the guy parked on his car, turned his head slowly, looked at his neighbor's door. He saw a big box. The guy got out of the car, turned on the alarm, and walked heavily to his neighbor's house. The box seen up close was even bigger than what he saw from the car. On top was marked in big red letters, "Return to sender." The guy thought he was just going to keep the box in his garage until his neighbor came back. So neither short nor lazy, he opened his arms and grabbed the box from side to side. It must be said that the guy was absolutely not weak. In fact, he had a good physique. But the box was terribly heavy, so much so that he thought that trying to lift the box he would break his spine. However, the man's pride made him take it personally. He grabbed the box. He lifted it with a great effort and slid his fingers underneath to be able to grab the best one, and thus walking he little balance. He walked, and walked step by step to his house. The garage door was closed, and the moment he remembered a very important detail. The chains of his garage door were rusty and were moderately stuck. The guy usually managed to open it with a kick, so with the box he couldn't even see his own garage. The guy kicks it if he doesn't want to open, and boom! Hits it even harder and with rage. Already somewhat stressed, he pushes one last kick. At the moment, the box fails, making an horrible sound on the floor. At that moment, it is as if one thing had led to another. The garage door makes a long and unpleasant sound until it finally opens. The guy quickly thought that if something had broken inside the box, he was going to tell his YouTuber neighbor that he didn't know anything, and the box arrived in that condition. The guy lifted it back up heavily and set it aside, closed the garage door, and went about his business. It was about 48 hours after the last thing, when the guy, while having breakfast, started to feel. He went to work, and in the course of the day the guy forgot about it. But when he arrived at night for dinner, the smell had worsened, and the guy, with an advance, thought surely a cat or a damn possum came to die. Damn it, he thought. He had to go to sleep with that smell. more or less floating in the air. He had not even got out the bed to urinate when the smell was quite disgusting. The annoyed guy tried to smell and detect where it came from, and then opened the door leading to his garage. And there the smell was unbearable, but he had not found a dead cat or, or several dead rats or a dead opossum. The smell came from the box. It had to come from there. Was only thing that had changed in the garage. The guy went to the box and thought that that asshole, that to this idiot. It occurred to him to receive a shipment of meat, chicken, ground beef, meat, just when it occurred to him to leave for several days and come to rot to me. Damn it. The guy noticed that the box was very well closed, so with effort and with certain tools he tried to open it. But when he was able to uncover the lid a little, he was greeted by the worst, most disgusting, most repugnant rodent smell of his life. There was a smell of piss, shit, sweat. He reached, fell down, and got up heavily and ran away cowardly. The smell was too much for him. He was going to vomit. He didn't do it for a little bit. But then the guy leaning against the wall with his forehead resting on the back of his hand rating said, "This has to go. This scrap has got to go." The guy then grabbed cloth, pressed it to his face, and went again in and finished kicking the box open. Then, when the lid finally slid off the door, what was inside the box was meat, yes, but not kitchen, not hamburger, and certainly not sausage. The thing on the box was his YouTuber neighbor dead. In their curled up in the fetal position. He survives the shock, but still he starts to call the police immediately. The police stopped him and heavy and long interrogation started to come out. The only thing that the poor guy had in his favor was that himself had called the police. But by late at night, the police decided to release himself. The guy assumed that the professionals had done their job and that they bad and that they had managed to affirm that he had nothing to do with it, that what he had told them was real. Yes, it was real. And they got a lot of evidence in his favor. However, the main one was that inside with the corpse there was a camera. The batteries had run out. When they reviewed the video, a policeman who took pity on the subject let him see the recording. He did not let him see the video. He did not want to. He didn't want to see it. He didn't want to see it. He didn't know if he was allowed to do so, but perhaps out of compassion, he allowed him to watch it just once. Once and only once. It turns out that his neighbor YouTuber had a fantastic idea for the new video. He was going to pack himself inside the box with the help of one of these friends who always accompany YouTubers to do their stupid things. The friend who was going to close the box was here, and he with several flashlights and a lot of food for the trip was going to send himself through several states, through several provinces. The guy with the flashlight point at his face documented the whole trip with the sounds outside, and he laughed. He laughed when they put him on the truck. He laughed as he listened to the road, the sound of the truck engine. However, there was one detail that the police overlooked, but he didn't. A detail that would haunt him for the rest of his life. It turns out that the guy had died because he broke his neck, but because the box at some point took a tumble and fractured. The police assumed that the truck went into a hole, one of those that are usual on long highways, and that produced the large that sealed his fate. But the neighbors saw that exact moment when the guy died, the moment when he broke his neck. It was accompanied by the long, long, horrible creaking of his garage door.